concise and very compelling set of arguments as to why Somaliland should achieve recognition. We've got plenty of time for questions, and I'd like to think there is quite a lot to talk about. So could I please ask people when they put questions, please identify yourself so that we have a complete record of who is speaking. The gentleman at the back, the microphone is coming.
It's Kedrick Barnes from the Foreign and Commonwealth Office. I wondered about the exact position of the Somaliland government with regard to negotiations with the transitional federal government of Somalia. The exact position.
Well, the exact position has always been clear. The current reconciliation process that's taking place, that has taken place last time, is one of many. In fact, since Djibouti won, 91, we believe this is what? The 17th conference that has taken place. Somaliland has never been part and parcel of that. Somaliland will never be part and parcel of that. Somaliland made very, very clear with regard to its position, and Somaliland is at peace with itself. Somaliland has, it's not a party to the conflict in the south. This is a conflict that is only present in the southern. We have nothing to reconcile with them. One is an if and when a legitimate government that controls its boundaries, that controls its society, and that's inclusive, that is willing as two different partners, we will look. And this is the moment that we have been waiting all along.
Okay, thank you very much. The gentleman there in the fourth row, thank you.
Thank you. Michael Bell, member of the Institute and perhaps equally relevantly once a pupil of Sheikh Intermediate School. Like most admirers of what Somaliland has achieved in the last 17 years, it appears to me that Somaliland has won all the arguments in favour of recognition, but you are still not recognised. It also seems to me that the more distant states, like the United Kingdom, seem to be waiting on the African Union. Can you say anything about progress you might be making within the African Union towards the achievement of recognition in that body?
Thank you very much indeed. We have made some progress with our brothers in the Union with regards to member states as well as the Commission. I must say, and I must thank the former chairperson of the African Union, Professor Konari, and his commissioners who commissioned a committee to visit Somaliland and report back. And reported they did. They brought a very important document, and I think it will be available for you, whereby the AU Commission recommended and stated very clearly that the case of Somaliland is very unique. It is progressive. Somaliland has been an independent state in 1960, and the case of Somaliland and its status to be changed into a recognition state will not affect and will not open a domino theory or a Pandora box, as some Africans African states might be afraid of. So that was a very important piece of document. It has been recorded. They came to 2005, and then they reported back in 2005 in Zirt, Libya, and that's where it stood. Now, after that, recently and most recently, a special envoy was commissioned by the African Union, who happens to come also from Burundi. He visited Somaliland, and we are expecting his report, following up the previous AU Commissioner's report, to be reported in January 2009 in Addis Ababa AU conference. So we made some progress in light of this. In addition to that, we have been talking to member states individually. Normally we do not talk about this, but they include countries in the west, countries in the south, countries in the center, francophones and anglophones. among others, Portuguese speaking, and we have made some headways. Today, we are very proud to say that we have a major office in Ethiopia, and Ethiopia has got a big office in Somaliland. We have one in Kenya. We have representations in some Western African countries, and also in Southern African belt, and in Central Africa as well. And we are very much content with the progress that we have made in light of this.
Thank you very much. The gentleman in the front row, and then the gentleman in the second row. Then I'll take the others in the order they.
Thank you very much, Minister. Tom Porteous from Human Rights Watch. I think anyone who's observed Somaliland over the last 17 years has to be impressed by the enormous progress that you've made in terms of building institutions, making peace in the first place. But to what extent could one say that your lack of recognition has actually been an advantage to you? I mean, for example, during the period of peacemaking in the early 90s, was precisely because it was an internally driven thing without interference from outside that was kind of almost one of the reasons for its success. And since then, the lack of massive amounts of development assistance has meant that perhaps the cake is not so big to fight over and has therefore contributed to peace and stability in Somaliland. So that's one question. And the other question I wanted to ask is, what are you doing to pursue justice for the war crimes that were committed in the late 1980s against people of Somaliland? Thank you.
I will ask the latter question first, and that is, we are not in the business of now going after people. We have too many things to take care of, to mind our businesses. And Somaliland, its community has forgiven and, departed from that position. That's 1991. We started everything afresh, and that's it. It's a reconciliation in Somaliland style. We said forgive and forgiveness, period. With regards to, yes, thank you very much for your good remarks and kind remarks. Yes, it was a homegrown process. We did things through our own way, in our own style, in our own capacity, under our own circumstances. Yes, it's been absolutely, I think, wonderful that our people came together and reconciled. And it was a pre-planned, premeditated approach and objective. We have a plan, we have had a plan, and that plan, it took quite some time, starting with reconciliation, demobilization, institutional building, transitional building of institutions of governance, and ultimately reaching into a stage whereby we establish what we call a constitutional state, which is where we are at this stage. So thanks to the efforts of our people and to the understanding of our people across the board, whether from the diaspora, women organizations, religious leaders, traditional institutions, the Somali national movement, which played a very, very critical role in that aspect. And we are very happy to do that. In contrast, in 91, when we were in Bur'o, for instance, under a tree with nation-building process, the first so-called internationally sponsored conference on Somalia reconciliation was taking place in Djibouti. That was Djibouti 1. But we opted to do things on our own way. It was good that our system was not adulterated, that foreigners didn't come, and we are very happy that we did it through that process. Now, we could help. We could take a little more help. This will not be a problem for us. We have the capacity to use direct assistance, to use bilateral relations, to interact with international financial institutions, like anybody else. It seems to us that our strength is not that we are not getting either assistance or investment, for that matter, into Somaliland. I think we are not afraid of if we develop our resources, if investors come, if the country is assisted, if international financial institutions give assistance. If we get even a budgetary support from others, we wouldn't be afraid of this, because I think we have established institutions of governance and the mechanism we run a budget of $50,000 with security forces, with civil servants, with all kinds of services that you can think of. So we have the capacity, and we are not afraid of any assistance that we get. It's welcome.
Jeremy Carver, international lawyer, and I must declare an interest.